In this video, we're going to be going over formulas and literal equations. Now, this is just really straightforward. A lot of the times, I don't even know what half these formulas are. I just understand how the mathematics works or how the math is involved in solving for a specific variable. So, for example here, we could have something like this. Oh, let's get a better color out, sorry. All right, we have the formula P equals N times the quantity, P minus C, and we're going to solve this for P. Okay, so in this scenario here, please note that the letter P is inside of the quantity, and this is the letter N times the quantity of P minus C. So let me write that out here in words so you can see exactly what I'm saying. N times the quantity of P minus C. Now, if we kind of match everything up, there's our letter N. The quantity of represents those parentheses, and then the P minus C is inside of that quantity. Therefore, if I wanted to solve for the letter P, I am not going to distribute. What I'm going to do is divide both sides of my equation by n. And that's because I have n times a quantity. So, and it's just like this. Like I think sometimes it's a lot easier when you see an actual problem versus just letters. So, in this scenario here, we have 12 equals 4 times x. To solve this, you would just divide both sides by 4 to yield x, or 3 equals x. But what you did right here is you said 4 times x. Well, the opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm doing the same thing in our problem. So what happens here is the n's reduce. All right, and I'm left over with p over n equals little p minus c. And to solve for p, I'm going to add c to both sides. So I get this capital P over n plus c equals little p. And that's all we had to do there. Every single problem is basically done the same exact way. It's just a matter of understanding the algebra and everything behind it. So I'll do a couple more examples here. We'll do a relatively simple one here. Let's do one from physics class. So how about solve f sub c equals mv squared all over r for r, and this is the centripetal force formula. All right, so we're solving for r, which is down here. Now there are a couple ways we can go about this. I think the easiest way, the way that I think a lot of us would be most comfortable with, is to take our letter r, and what we're going to do here is we're going to multiply both sides of the equation by it. By doing that, it reduces the r's on the right-hand side. So now we have r times f sub c equals mv squared. And then our next step, we'll just divide both sides by c to give us r equals mv squared all over f sub c. All right, now, that is not the only way to do this problem. You could have done it like this. So I'm going to scroll back up here. And I'm going to write it. I'm just going to rewrite the formula. And if you notice, on the left-hand side of this equation, the f sub c, that is a fraction. It's like over 1. And any time we have a ratio equal to another ratio, we are allowed to cross multiply. It's the only time we are allowed to do this. So, by understanding that, watch what happens here. I'm going to cross multiply to give me r F sub c equals mv squared. And once again, divide both sides by F sub c to give us R equals mv squared over F sub c. So it's the same exact thing as what we had over here. It's just a matter of recognizing these things. That's all. I got to be honest, when I took physics, all right, a lot of the times on the like quizzes and exams, I would get the problems right because I knew the math. I knew how to algebraically manipulate the formula to get the units that I needed. And then from there, I would just substitute numbers in and call it a day. So let me try one more here. Let's try, we'll try this formula right here. This is for jet engine power. So this measures how much pressure is coming out. So we have P equals V1 times the quantity of V2 minus V1 all over G times J. And we're going to solve this for V2. All right, so give me a second here. I'm just going to rewrite it. And I notice V2 is right here. It's inside of my quantity. And anytime I see like a quantity and they want me to solve for something inside the quantity, I get a little excited because I'm like, oh, I don't have to distribute because I understand something is being multiplied to it. So I can just divide it out later, which is like really, really awesome when you start to see things like this. But the first thing I want to do is I want to get rid of this G times J. And since we are dividing this entire numerator by that, I'm going to go ahead and multiply both sides by G times J. That reduces it on the right. So I get P times G times J equals V1 times the quantity of V2 minus V1. Now I'm going to divide both sides by, and I'm going to be specific, so I'm going to highlight it here for us. I'm dividing both sides by this V1 first. So divide both sides by V1. That gives me PG times J over V1 equals V2 minus V1. And finally, I will add V1 to both sides of my equation to give me PGJ over V1 plus V1, which equals V2. All right, and I hope that helps, and that's going to be it for this video. It's a nice short one for you.